There isn't a lot between Lyoto Machida and Mark Manoz. Now, 13-3 for the latter, 19-4 for the former. Both of them only really seem to lose to the top calibers, with the exception perhaps of Lyota's last loss by decision to Phil Davis, which is what he's coming off. I may be completely wrong here, but I think that Lyota's going to win this one, and I'm going to say a decision victory. Ross Pearson, 15-6, is fighting Melvin Guillard, 31-12, so there's quite a disparity in records there. Now, it's true that Melvin Guillard has a tendency to get submitted. He's only been knocked out once. That was by Donald Cerrone about 3 fights ago, and that is Ross Pearson's speciality. I don't know if I dare say that I think he's going to get a TKO here. I might be a little bit more safe and say that I think this will be a Ross Pearson decision. Look out for this fight to possibly win Fight of the Night's honours. I think this is a really good match. This is Jimi Manuwa, who happens to be British, and he has a perfect record of 13. I ought to say, in case I didn't make it clear, this is going on at Manchester, in Manchester. I'm not actually going to it, but there we are. He is fighting Ryan Jimo, who has a record of 18-2. Now, both of these are stand-up strikers, okay? Jimi Manuwa particularly. Ryan Jimo does win slightly more by decision, but he's also incredibly good on the feet. He's only been knocked out once, and it was his first fight. So, I don't know. I really don't know. This is going to be an exciting one. Oh gosh, I don't know. Shall I be patriotic and go for Jimi Manuwa? Or shall I say no? You see, that's just told you everything. That at least subconsciously, I think that Ryan Jimo is the better, so I might go for him instead. Norman Park has a record of 18-2. He is the British entry into this, and he is on a 8 fight win streak, although I'm seeing a lot of decisions recently. He's a standout submission artist, but his only losses are also by submission. If we look at John Tuck, I like John Tuck. He is a perfect record of 7. He is pretty well rounded, and we're talking Taekwon Zhang was his last match, although I have to say that was his debut. I think this will be possibly a John Tuck decision. That's what I'm going to say anyway. Interesting fight this. Alessio Sakara is back with us. Now, for some reason, I feel like he'd been away for a long time. This is his first fight this year, but he fought twice last year. Unfortunately, he's coming off the end of a 3-fight win streak, even if that does include Chris Weidman, Brian Stan and Patrick Cote. So they're all very high calibers. For some reason, I think the institution also want him to win. His record is 15-10. They've put him against somebody 10-2, whose name is Nicholas Mazok, something like that. A Swede who's on a reasonable fight win streak if you don't include a no contest. But this is his debut, and I don't think they're expecting him to win. Although Alessio Sakara is mainly a stand-up striker, I'm going to go for his win here by decision. John Linka is fighting Phil Harris, who is a British entry, and with a record of 22-10. and 22-6. There's not a lot between them. Equally in the calibers that they've fought. Now, Phil Harris, his area of expertise is submissions, although he also mostly gets submitted as well if we're looking at losses. The thing I don't know is whether he will be able to submit John. John does have a history of getting submitted, but I think by higher calibers. So I might have to say that I think this will be a John Linka TKO or decision. Al Quinta is fighting Piotr Hallman, a Pole, and this is quite interesting because Al Quinta is loss, win, and all of his losses are by submissions. If we look at Hallman, who has a much better record, 14-1 to 6-2, he wins by submission, and his only loss is by TKO. He's also on an amazing fight win streak, including one in the UFC, which wasn't too bad. I therefore think that this is going to be a submission victory. I'll put it as a bar submission in the second by Hallman. Luke Barnatt, with a perfect record of 6, is fighting Andrew Craig with a record of 9-1. Craig has fought much higher calibers, in my opinion, although he's only just won. In fact, sometimes he hasn't won. I'm going to go for an Andrew Craig decision victory. For those of you who want to know, there is a women's match on the card. This is between Jessica Andrade and Rosi Sexton. Now, I know Rosi Sexton because she used to write in the Fighters Only magazine. And for that reason only, I'm going to go for her winning. Michael Cooper, 12-2, is fighting Brad Scott, 8-2. I think these are both stand-up fighters, and I'm going to go for Brad Scott here. This could be the underdog pick of the night, but there you are. And I think I might go for a decision victory, which would also be his first decision victory, so perhaps that's not such a brilliant prediction, but, you know, I live dangerously with my predictions. I don't think they like Mike Wilkinson very much. He is 8-1, he is a British fighter, and he is a submission specialist. Unfortunately, he also got submitted in his last match, which was, I believe, the first one in the UFC. He is facing Jim Hets, you might remember, who is also an extremely talented submission artist who, frankly, is much better. Record of 10-1, and should win this. I'm going to go for a choke submission in the second there. This is a really interesting match, this one here. Whoops, nearly lost you altogether then. This is Andy Ogle fighting Cole Miller. Bizarre. Andy Ogle is 9-2, and I've been following him with some interest. Cole Miller is somebody I used to follow quite a long time ago. 19-8 is his record. Now, I think it has to be fair, let's just say that Cole Miller is almost certainly the favourite here. And people are going to expect that Cole Miller will not just win, but finish, and that he will finish by submission. You might like to know that his one area of weakness is losing by submission. I don't expect that Andy Ogle will finish Cole Miller at all. What he has to do in this is show great defence from the submissions and do enough to win the decision. That's what he should do. And, you know, I'm going to go out on a limb and say I think he might do that. So I'm going to go for Andy Ogle by decision.